Hi, my name is Dr. Schweinsgruber from audioreviews.org, and today we are having a look at the three Sennheiser in-ear monitor Pro series, the Pro models. There we have the IE40 Pro, the IE400 Pro and the IE500 Pro, and the IE40 Pro is priced at 99 euros / US dollars. The IE400 Pro is at 349 euros US dollars, and the IE500 Pro is at 599 euros or US dollars. In terms of accessories and physical features, there is not much difference between the three models. The IE40 Pro and IE400 Pro, they share the same cable. It's a nice round cable, tangle free, but it has some microphonics. The IE500 Pro has this braided cable free of microphonics, but it tangles pretty bad often. In terms of housings, these earphones are identical. They have different drivers. The IE40 Pro has an older generation 10mm driver, and the IE400 and 500 Pro, they share the same latest generation 7mm driver. Okay, let's have a look at the IE40 Pro and the IE400 Pro. There's a substantial price difference. The graph doesn't look that much different. Very similar tuning. The difference is mainly the driver generation. The IE400, as we heard, features a newer driver, a swifter, faster driver, a driver with a lower harmonic distortion. So you can play these, both of them actually pretty loud, but the Sennheiser IE400 Pro, although very similar sounding, has better transparency, clarity. It's a better earphone, but the IE40 is still pretty darn good. So if you have a budget, the IE40 Pro is a very good selection at $100. Let's just have a look. So Sennheiser tuned it. It looks actually rather different from many tunings I come across. Quite bassy actually, which doesn't really show up. The bass is actually quite nice, quite punchy. And you don't have much here in the upper mid-range between 2 and 4 kilohertz, not bytes, kilohertz. But, so the voices are not over-energized like in many Chinese models, so you get a really good vocals reproduction, you get full and rich vocals in both of these earphones. That's actually very good. They're all very balanced. Now, some people don't like these treble peaks, which are really only at the very upper end, but the IE40 Pro, some people say that the cymbals sound a bit tizzy, a bit plasticky, whatever you call that, but I don't think it's an issue. I think they sound very good, and all of these Sennheiser models, they really they isolate very well from the outside ambient noise. Jesus. Okay, so let's have a look at the upscale model IE400 Pro versus IE500 Pro, and you see that these two are tuned very differently. First of all, the IE400 Pro has more bass, the IE500 Pro is flatter. Where they really are totally apart though is in the upper mid-range between 2 or brilliance area, whatever you call that, between 2 and 5 kilohertz. This is where your harmonics are for your vocals. The vocals are probably sitting more in this area, but this is the area that energizes your vocals, that gives them some sparkle, some sheen, some energy, some atmosphere. And the Chinese competition typically pulls the graph up to here. There's typically a 10 to 15 decibel gain between the vocals here and the upper mid-range. Sennheiser in the IE500 did the opposite, and I've never seen this in my life. You see how this blue curve drops off, and that is really, really weird. I don't know what is behind it. They say these are designed for vocalists, but what it does, it takes the energy out of the vocals, and it congests everything. It congests voices, it congests orchestras, it sounds muffled. your mid-range, the stuff you zoom in, it's terrible, and it costs 600 euros or dollars. So I don't know what's going on here. These differences are not that earth-shattering, you're hearing, but bass, actually the IE500 is a very nice, very articulate bass. It doesn't help you when your vocals department sounds muffled. Now I want to note that the IE400 Pro and IE500 Pro are physically identical. They vary a little bit in their accessories. The IE500 Pro has a tangle-free cable with no microphonics. But the drivers and the shells and the technology, there's identical between the two, and where the $250 or euro difference is, I don't know, it must be in the research and development. They must have been tuning that thing for so long that it justifies the price difference. To me, it's not justified. In fact, of all the three, and now here you have it, the IE400 Pro is by far the best sounding. So I rank these IEMs. The best sounding is the IE400 Pro. The second best sounding is the IE40 Pro. And I'm afraid the 600 euros on the IE500 Pro, I would really question those. As always, there is a written account of this, as you see here, on the blog audioreviews.org, and you can read up what I was just telling you, just a bit more concisely. And you also will find on this blog the 3 individual reviews of these models. But we just wanted to put them in order, because it's a bit confusing when companies release very similar appearing models. The potential customer would like to know what the difference is. So that was my take on the Sennheiser Pro series. Please like this video, please subscribe, please push that bell at the top to receive the latest information. Please consider giving us a small donation via PayPal to keep this channel running. You've got all the important links below, all the written reviews, all the comparisons. I am Dr. Schweinsgruber in Calgary with audioreviews.org. See you next time. Auf Wiedersehen.